Hello and welcome to today's math video. My name is Janine and I'm an elementary teacher, and I want to thank you for being here today. Whether you're a student, a parent, or a teacher, thank you for your willingness to spend this time together. I don't know if things look a little different. A wonderful Stanley bought a lamp that is supposed to make things look a little less glary, so I hope it does look a little bit better. Bill, can you tell a difference? I hope so. Today's topic is division. And I've been angry about division now for several years, and wonderful Stanley just says, Janine, calm down. It's okay, just teach it. But I can't calm down because it's so frustrating as a teacher to be expected to teach something that I believe is developmentally inappropriate for many of our students. I went to an administrator at one point and I asked, his thoughts on this, and he said, well, I was taught long division in the 4th grade, and I didn't have any problems with it. I went to a veteran teacher, and I asked her her thoughts, and she said, well, it's been in our curriculum for so long, I guess that's just why we keep doing it. But should we? That's my question. That wasn't her question. My question was, but should we just keep doing it because it's in our curriculum? I have my colleague who teaches secondary math at my school, Will Griffith, and I go to him often, and I said, Will, do our students need long division? Why are we even teaching this? What scenario is there where we will ever use long division, or maybe the thought process for long division? Do we need it? And he said, well, actually, yes. In Algebra 2, there's a standard that looks a lot like long division. I said, oh, okay. Well, okay, we have to teach it, but I just am not convinced that 4th grade is the time for that to happen. So I decided to go, I'm a member of the NCTM, National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, and I decided to write the then president. He's not the president now, his term is up, but I got his email. Robert Q. Berry, have never gotten to meet him in person, but I got his email and I wrote him, and he said, forwarded from his iPad, I agree with you. I support the development of division as a concept for equal groups, fair share, etc. I do too. Algorithmically, I question teaching multi-digit division problems. Contact Jenny Bay Williams. She is an expertise in this area and research and in this space, and I value her work and opinions. Contact her, and he gave me her contact information. So I contacted her, and I have since met her. She's wonderful. I have lots of resources that I'm going to be sharing with you and have already been using in my classroom. That was really validating that someone of his stature would have some of the same concerns that I did. Then I decided to contact Joe Bowler. Yes, our Joe Bowler of Stanford University. Now, she did not have time to contact me herself. I understand. She's Joe Bowler. But she forwarded her email to one of her Stanford colleagues who said that she thanked me for reaching out and said some lovely things. But this is what her colleague said, Kathy Ann Williams. She said, Joe and I have a lot of thoughts on division. I'm going to share my version here. I agree with you, with an exclamation mark. I do not like the American algorithm for division one bit. I have been personally fighting it for years. I used to stand in classrooms and watch students who were in a class and expected to learn it in grades 4 and 5. You certainly do not see joy in their faces or in the faces of the teachers expected to teach it. The algorithm does come up again in Algebra 2 with polynomial long division. See, Will was right. But why do we even teach that? It is ridiculous and beyond words in the 21st century. Okay, and don't get Joe started on synthetic division either. Wow, I wish we were all sitting together right now discussing this in person. What a thought. The thought of being with these people in a forum discussing what is best for students. I don't know that will ever happen to me, but boy, would that be a dream come true. So, one thing that I like to do is I like to go to our fifth grade teacher as often as I can to troubleshoot and bounce ideas off him, Mr. Benny. And he's so good about sharing and being open to my different ways of wanting to teach students. And he always is a little bit concerned, though, with the methods that I've used in the past with teaching long division because they don't look anything like the standard algorithm. And he says, it's kind of hard for the students to move from something that looks completely different. And I can see that. So I have found a method. It might not be new to you, but it looks rather like the standard algorithm. And Mr. Benny really liked it. And my students are loving it. And I love it because it's gracious. Yes, gracious. How can division be gracious? The standard algorithm has no grace. You choose the right divisor or you don't get the right quotient. But in this method, I will show you it's not that way at all. So let's do this. You're going to start by making a 7. See, it kind of looks like the standard algorithm already. And I always ask the students, who can give me a 2-digit number? And this is one that Hannah chose yesterday. And then who can choose a 1-digit number? Just doing that, I think, is good for them. 1-digit, 2-digit. Now we're going to look for a number that I can multiply times 6 that I know the quotient. I know it, as big as it can get, but not bigger than 83. And there were a handful of students who chose 12. A lot of them didn't know that one, though, but there were several that did. And 6 times 12 is 72. And then we're going to subtract. Ooh, this is looking a little familiar, isn't it? Here I have a 1 and a 1. Now, and you can even draw this in again to make it look a little more like division. What number can I put here that I know the answer to times 6? Well, they all said 1. 1 times 6 is 6. I'm going to get the difference, and that is 5. And I can't put any more 6's in here, so I have my remainder. My remainder is 5. And then you get the sum of these two, and you get 13 remainder, 5. What do you think of this way? We are loving it. But what about those students who didn't know that 6 times 12 is 72? Well, that's okay, because someone else knew that, oh, I don't need to erase that because the quotient is going to be the same. Some of them knew that 6 times 11 is 66. So let's do that. 6 times 11 is 66. Let's subtract, and we have 7 here. And now what can I put here? I can put, let's see. Oh, I have to subtract. I didn't finish subtracting. There we go. There we go. All right. We know that 2 can go into it right here. I wish it were 18 because then it could be 3. But 6 times 2 is 12. I'm going to subtract, and there's my remainder again of 5. I'm going to get the sum of these two, and it's 13 remainder 5 again. But some of the students didn't want to do 11. They didn't want to do 11 times 6. Some of the students wanted to do 10. And that's okay too. Do you see what I mean about this method being so gracious? You could even put a 2 here. It would just take a lot longer. The bigger the number you put over here, the bigger the product you get here, the quicker you will get to your answer. But we know that speed is not a factor of math success. So, we're not in any grand hurry. All right, let's do it with 10. All right, 10 times 6 is 60. Let's subtract. We have 23. Oh, I wish this were a 24 because then I could put 4 in it and be done. But it's not. We have to put a 3 here. 3 times 6 is 18. I'm going to subtract. I get a 5. Look again. I have a remainder of 5. You end up with the remainder first. And get a sum here, and I have 13 as remainder 5 as my quotient. What do you think of this method? It looks very similar to long division, but it's gracious. Now, we've been doing this for several days, and I knew it was time for me to get a formative assessment. And so I made a little activity and I said, I'm taking the training wheels off now. Let's see how we do. And you know what? A lot of them crashed. 7 of them had mastered it. And that was very exciting for them. And the others, I said, you know what? I took the training wheels off. You crashed in the bushes. Now what? Do I leave you there to be a bicycle failure? No, I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to wash your injuries and we're going to go at it again together. And they laughed. And that's what we are going to do. And I said, and I'm not even going to count this activity in your grade book. And they said, oh, Mrs. Matsuda, you're so nice. And I said, no, I'm not nice. It has nothing to do with me being nice. I think this is something we need to get across to our students. How can I, as a good teacher, record something that they are not ready? They have not enough of them have mastery of it. I need to keep practicing it with them. So it has nothing to do with my being a good teacher, a nice teacher, or a mean teacher. It's all about being a good teacher. I have to tell you what happened while we were doing this on Thursday, though. They were at my feet. They love doing this kind of math right up on the carpet, on the ground with their whiteboards and all. And we started and Mofe Alua said, oh, I dreamed about this last night. I said, what? He goes, yes, I dreamed about this. And then Joseph said, you know, I did too. And we laughed. We thought that was so funny. I said, well, tell me, what was the dream like? Was it a good dream? Was it a bad dream? And both boys said, no, it was a good dream. I said, you were having success with this? And they said, yes, it was a good dream. And I thought, do I need to quit right here? Because when am I ever going to have a better math day in my career than when I've got students dreaming in a good way about long division? So that was a highlight for sure. This week, when I do it, I've already decided we're going to move away from our whiteboards a bit, and I'm going to make a sheet that has a lot of these on it so that the format will already be there and they can fill it in. And I think that will help us a lot to get towards mastery. But we're going to continue with this division. Nobody is upset. Nobody is crying. They're loving it. I'm not seeing any of the frustration that I have seen in previous years when I have taught the standard algorithm to long division. And this is good. There's no reason for our students to be upset and crying. Now, it doesn't mean it's not rigorous. This is rigorous. It's not like I'm trying to take rigor out of mathematics, or struggle, or mistakes. Those are all good things. But needless frustration, I'm okay with that getting thrown out. What's coming up ahead in the next few weeks of these math videos? Well, Pi Day is nearing, it's approaching, so I'm already working on some ideas for Pi Day. And I'm also on Monday of this week going to be doing another one of those Peter Liljadal math activities. And if that goes well, I'll be able to make a video for that for you too. So again, I hope that you have found something that will be useful for your heart or for teaching in your week this week. And I look forward to being together again very soon.